want a recap? I don't think so. We don't need a recap. But we should look in our journal. So, major decisions for Monday. Devoured the boiled peanuts when offered. Thank you, kind stranger. Found an opossum living in the dresser. Stuck into the forbidden wings of the estate. Attacked by a mountain lion and saved by Duke. Heroically escaped danger in the woods. Punched a monster in the face. I am the danger. Met Stella's friend Kanika and her mother. We met Kanika earlier. Learned about ditchlings. Returned to my cousin's estate before going to bed. Okay. You open your eyes. The sun had risen. The birds are singing. You're still alive, and for now, you're safe. Your gaze wanders across the room to the window and the woods beyond. You wonder if the monsters are lurking there right now, just beyond the trees, ready to pounce as soon as you leave the crumbling estate. A familiar unease settles into your gut, tangling into a knot of anxiety, wriggling as the events of last night play out in your head. You can't help but remember the sight of pale faces jeering at you from the trees, their calls echoing through the woods, and you ran for your life. You're not sure if you'll ever feel okay again after what you've seen, but you can't stay in bed forever. Hunger pulls you from the clammy depths of the mattress. Check on the opossum. You open the drawer to check on the little opossum you met yesterday. Oh good, he's still here. That's nice. Leave the little man's in peace. Closet. Great, the doll didn't move during the night. Maybe it isn't haunted after all, though after everything you went through yesterday, that's hardly a consolation. Look out the window. Oh look, there's Wayne. You creep towards the window, careful not to be seen by whatever might be lurking in the garden. For a second, you thought you saw movement. It could have been an animal, it could have been something else. Whatever it was, it's gone now. Maybe you'll head out there and investigate after you've finished waking up. Get dressed and head downstairs. Let's not text Stella. Back in the kitchen, Frou-Frou eyes you from her favorite spot on the counter. Leave the cat be. She clearly doesn't want to be touched. Hey, you sure took your time getting up. It's like 8 a.m. Is that late? It's late for someone who was supposed to be at work half an hour ago. Like me. I wanted to make sure I relayed this message in person in case you decided to brush off my call again. I don't want any repeats of last night. From now on, no running around in the woods after dark. It's dangerous out there. You could fall down a cliff. You could get stuck in a hidden cave somewhere. You could get lost in the woods and never be found. Just because nothing happens here doesn't mean it's safe. And just because Stella spends a lot of time in the woods, it doesn't mean she'll keep you out of trouble. I want you home by sunset from here on out. What's up with you and Stella? We just have a history, that's all. I don't need to explain myself to you. I tried getting home by sunset. I was just attacked by a mountain lion. Get home before sunset. Sorry about last night. I had no idea what was going to happen, and I didn't think I'd worry you like that. Good. Glad we're on the same page. Late enough as it is, I'm going to work, and I expect to see you here at sunset. Tabitha takes a few steps towards the door. Sunset. Your cousin huffily exits the kitchen. Her footsteps fade down the hall, ending in the characteristic creak that slammed of the front door as it opens and closes behind her. Once again, you're the only human in the estate. Text from Stella. Hey! Hope you're holding up okay, or as good as you can with all the stuff we saw last night. I was up most of the night on cryptid forums. No real answers yet. I'm in the library now if you want to join. I have scones. I'll be there in a bit, still waking up. And that's that. Time to start your day. First, let's go investigate the garden. It's probably just a raccoon, but the uncertainty of what you saw gnaws on you and compels you to investigate, if only to prove that it was nothing. At the very least, you don't see anything now. You wander further into the garden, trying to pinpoint the spot where the thing had been lurking, if indeed there had been a thing to begin with. The garden is peaceful, but undeniably eerie. Here, more than anywhere else, you're surrounded by the ghosts of what this place used to be. A greenhouse sits in the midst of overwhelming greenery, unreachable from years of neglect, its glass clouded and cracked. Statues reach out from within seas of weeds, as if begging to be rescued. Most strikingly, beneath a pair of rusted metal gates at the very peak of the mountain, sits a graveyard. You can just make out a few of the headstones, the Scarlet name carved deep and proud into their faces. You notice what a good view someone would have of your window if they stood where you're standing right now. You crouch down, pushing aside the greenery to examine the soft earth. A boot print, a big boot print, and what looks like some kind of viscera? Your thoughts turn to the specter from the night before. You snap a quick photo just in case it comes in handy later. You sent the photo to Stella. Look what I found in the garden across from my window. No way that's Tabitha-sized. You head back inside. Time to figure out what to do with the rest of your day. Okay, so we know we don't want to clean the bathroom. Tabitha is right. After last night, the last thing you need is to be sucked into more adventures. You're not going to leave the estate. You're going to do what you were told and wait for her to get back. Okay, so let's save. Let's save on page 10. Here, because that's where we put choices. And then let's try. So I think I want to head to town because I want to do the Kanika thing. But I want to see what happens if I choose the other option. You pace through the halls, wandering aimlessly, examining the cobweb-infested corners and peeling wallpaper. So you find yourself seeing past the decay more than you did yesterday, seeing the architecture and antique furniture for what it is, imagining what it may have looked like in its heyday. Beautiful, well-constructed, expensive. And all rotting away now, gold leaf peeling from cracked balustrades, silk upholstery stained beyond repair, eaten through by generations of moths. But your reflections are interrupted by the sudden heavy thunk, thunk, thunk of a metal door knocker, sound seeming to reverberate its way down your spine. Someone is at the front door. Before you get the chance to decide whether or not to answer, it opens. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't scare you. I've been up thinking about what you went through all night. I brought some fresh tea. Let's settle in somewhere and talk. Okay, so what does she want to tell me that she didn't tell me yesterday? Like, it made sense when she showed up when I didn't go and see her with Stella. But when I did, she still shows up. So I wonder what she's got to say. You and the old hippie make your way back to the kitchen. She gives one of Tabitha's few mugs a thorough rinse before pouring you steaming tea from her thermos. The smell is amazing, a nostalgic, earthy odor, reminiscent of fall, as if it was brewed with autumn leaves. I think it's key still to never drink her tea. You said you were a family friend? That I am. I used to know Vivian, in fact, before she left town. Okay, you've already offered me unsavory tales of her youth. Okay. What did you want to talk to me about? Oh, nothing much. We went through quite the ordeal last night and are holed up alone and, well, bless her heart, but Tabitha hasn't exactly reclaimed this place since Berlin passed. I feel like I'm inhaling cobwebs. Wanted to check in on you. How are you holding up, dear? Really? How'd you know I was up here? Were you just waiting around in town until I showed up? You're making me out to sound so ominous. I figured I would see you in town this morning. And when I didn't, well, It's not like there are many other places you could have been. There's a sound somewhere above you, a creaky floorboard betraying a shifting presence. There's something in the room above you. You heard that too, didn't you? You know, dear, I was planning to stop by the mines for a quick chat with your cousin. Maybe it would be a good idea if you came along. I don't like the thought of you being alone in this big house. Not with the town the way it is right now. I was here by myself for a while before you showed up. Nothing happened. Maybe the house just doesn't like you. All right, I won't force you. The sound is louder now. It's moving. Something heavy is crossing the room. But if you don't mind walking me to the door, I would appreciate the accompaniment. You make your way back to the foyer. The sounds, horrifyingly, follow along, disembodied, footsteps keeping pace with the two of you until you break free from the second floor and out into the vast entryway of the estate. Okay, but you know that somebody's up there playing the piano, so you know it's happening. Sybil wastes no time in opening the door, but she hovers next to you, glancing back up towards the stairs. You know, Tabitha doesn't usually leave the mines until after sunset, from what I've heard. Just in case you wanted to reconsider staying here alone until then. Another thump, another, it's nearing the landing. I'm sure I can take it, whatever it is, just like I handled those ditch things last night. Not sure every problem can be solved with fists. Bang, as the door upstairs is shut violently. Okay. Okay, so it is the same choice as if you did the other thing. So we're going to go back to the choice. And we're going to head to town. Because we want to spend as much time with Kanika as possible in this run. Tabitha isn't here to stop you. You head outside, back to the mountain path that leads to town. The walk back to town is much less pleasant today than it was yesterday, when you didn't yet know that the woods were full of monsters, and strange men who know your name. That's a bad thing to say about Duke. You stare anxiously into the darkness between the trees, searching for any signs of movement. But the woods are still, at least for now. Autumn-tinged mountains sprawling for miles in every direction now feel less like beautiful scenery, more like the walls of a cage. Your phone buzzes in your pocket. Geez, that's creepy. All the more reason to come to the library. Look who I found at library. Said she was up all night thinking about the video. Adding you to a group text. I'm only here because it's quieter than the store. Or was. I'm trying to figure out what animal that could be. I don't buy into that harbinger of doom stuff. We know what animals they are. They're ditchlings, and they are harbingers of doom. Sounds like they're having fun. Send a heart emoji. Put your phone away. Almost back to town. You make it to town in one piece. No creatures jumped out at you. No scary men blocked your path. The sight of other people is comforting, helping you forget the things you've witnessed as if they've happened to someone else. Hey, you were Tabitha's cousin, right? Man, the resemblance really is uncanny. Okay, that's terrible. We are way prettier than that. Name's Avery. I work over at the diner. You wouldn't happen to know what's up with Stella, would you? She mentioned something about you and the woods last night, but she was real cagey about it. Did something happen out there? She barely even waved when she walked by. Might as well. You tell everything that happened last night. Whoa, whoa, slow down. Y'all actually found something out there? I can corroborate. I may not have been out there with them, but I've seen their footage, and they encountered something otherworldly in the woods. Man, you seem way more calm about this than I'd be. Tell you what, I'm on break for the next half hour. How about you swing by the diner? Winnie can fix you some of Sybil's new blend and try to calm your nerves. It's chaga and lemon balm. It's always helped me on the bad days. And if you need to talk about what happened, I'm all ears. Anyway, it's up to you. See you around. See you, Sybil. I'd better get back to it myself. I'm glad I was able to catch you this morning, if only to see how you were holding up. Please don't hesitate to step by if I can help, if I can be of any help. Ooh. Hey, lady. I don't like being yanked around. Last night you were on about some great doom leading to our doorstep, and now you're stone cold about it. What gives? Because something isn't adding up here. I've shared what I know about the ditchlings, and I trust that you, Stella, and Kanika have what it takes to get to the bottom of things. I'm so sorry to cut our conversation short, but I've got things that need tending to. Stay safe, and God bless. Probably have a bit of time before you have needed at the library. Swing by the diner. Just because we didn't go the previous day, so might as well go today. Look at all those miners. And, what's his name? Justin Trimmerlane? Or whatever. In the back over there. The diner is a little quiet, but the air is still heavy with the tantalizing smell of breakfast. Okay, let's not warn the patrons. You slide into the booth across from Avery. Hey there, stranger. I mean, we met 5 minutes ago, Avery. Before you can exchange words, Winnie sidles up, a fresh mug of tea in hand. I heard you might need this. My condolences, by the way. Welcome to the holler. Let us know if you need anything this week. Answer to 29 down is oink, by the way. What? But the clue is pen sound. How's that a sound a pen makes? Wait, pen like pig pen? Are you kidding me? How was I supposed to guess that? I don't know why you even bother with those things. They're just going to frustrate you. Just something to do to fill the time, but maybe I should switch to Sudoku. Winnie leaves, Avery contemplating daily newspaper puzzles, returning to her seat behind the counter. So, thanks for telling me about last night. If you want to really get into the grisly details, you can tell me. I won't judge. I could tell you about last night, but what if you don't believe me? I'm not here to judge. I'm here to listen. Okay. You share everything. Glad to have someone to talk to about the horrors you witnessed. Wow, that is some heavy stuff. No wonder Stella seemed distant. Monsters in the woods. I may not have lived here long, but I've never heard of anything like that happening around these parts. How exciting. I hadn't pegged you as a transplant. Where are you from? I moved here from Charlotte. Gosh, 3 years ago now? Maybe a little more? I've lost track. Aunt Winnie offered me a place to stay and a job, and who was I to pass on that sort of generosity? To be honest, it still feels like I just moved in. Practically everyone apart from the Cole folks grew up in this town, so it's like I'm a perpetual new kid. Don't get me wrong, folks here are plenty polite and friendly. There's a shared history I'll never be a part of. Why'd you leave Charlotte, if you don't mind me asking? That's cool. I was having some issues with my folks about my education, which wasn't great, especially since I was still stuck under their roof. When my aunt heard about it, she offered me a job and a place to stay, and the rest is history. All of this is kind of exciting, isn't it? Yeah, who knows what's going to happen next? It sounds like these muscles of yours have already come in handy. If shit hits the fan, I'm going to stick with you. Oh man, looks looks like my shift is starting. I hope you're doing a bit better. I'm going to keep my ears open for you. Diner is where everyone comes to gossip, so I hear a lot about what's going on around here. I'll let you know if anyone mentions these monsters or anything else strange or unusual. Avery slips out of the booth, giving a friendly half wave before disappearing into the back. You leave the diner, ready to continue your day. Is there anything in the store other than Miles to like meat? I don't think so. Because Kanika's not there. Sybil's busy. We're not gonna get anything about Tabitha. That's the next day. We're just gonna go to the library. You enter the former town hall. It's quieter today, distinctly missing the presence of yesterday's 3 teenage girls. Oh, hey, you made it. You head over to Stella and Kanika's table and settle in. Figures we end up at the library, not with our book smart character, but with our, hi, I punch things character. I punch things and lie, specifically. Food at the library. So weird. You made it. Glad you could join us. Morning, Ch2. You look tired. Kanika, you can't just tell someone they look tired. What? You do look tired. Anyway, I guess we should get started. Oh, before I forget, we gotta talk about that photo you sent me this morning. Kanika, check this out. Ch2 found it in Tabby's garden this morning, right in line of sight of her room. What is that liquid around it? Looks like pus. Do you think it's Wayne? The creep who keeps coming around my mom's tea room? He snuck up on us last night and called out Ch2 by name. Those boot prints match up with the mining getup. Whoa, apparently I missed a lot last night, huh? I wonder if there's any connection between that guy and what happened in the woods last night. Like what? I mean, I don't have anything specific, but we do have the whole prophecy of impending doom angle to explore. This photo is weird. I can't stop thinking about those splatters on the ground. If he's sick, maybe it's from, the creatures you encounter. Hey there, stranger. Hey, Oscar. This is Ch2, Tabitha's cousin. I actually already had the pleasure. We had an excellent conversation yesterday, though I think it might have gotten a bit heavy for my daughter. Though speaking of Rosalina, none of you have happened to... Oh. Uh-oh. Capitalism. Hi. I think we're back from the capitalism. I think. Welcome back. I hope the capitalism isn't too terrible. Though speaking of Rosalina, none of you have happened to see her around town this morning, have you? I don't want to be a helicopter dad, but she hasn't been answering my texts. And I wanted to make sure she isn't getting into trouble out there. You know the crowd she hangs around with. They're good kids at heart. I'm sure they're just up in old Maxwell Place doing teen stuff. I went up there plenty of times in my day, but I'll be sure to keep my eyes peeled. It's the old Maxwell Place. It's this great old abandoned spot that's practically a magnet for young people. Even the honors students aren't free from its call. I can't believe I used to be so reckless. The floors there were like Swiss cheese. We should really have a talk with Rosalina when she gets home. Kids are smarter than you think. She can take care of herself. Might not want to let her run off like that anymore. It's not as safe as it usually is around Is that so? Kanika's right. There's some weird stuff going on out in the woods. That's actually why we came in today. Have you ever heard of creatures called ditchlings? They apparently show up around places on the brink of disasters, and they kind of look like if the Pillsbury Doughboy was a creepypasta. Kanika's mom told us about them last night after seeing some footage we got in the woods. Ditchlings? Doesn't ring a bell. Dang, worth a shot. Okay, so you were, say, trying to predict a horrible disaster that might befall our town. Where would you start looking? Well, they say history repeats itself, so I'd probably try and figure out what sort of disasters this region typically falls prey to. Should I be worried about something? I don't know yet. I'll be right back. Gonna go nab some books. Behave while I'm gone, Gretchen. Aw, you don't have to worry about her, Stella. You're such a good dog, aren't you, Gretchen? Here, have a biscuit, old gal. Gretchen inhales the soft biscuit, drool leaking from her toothless mouth as she swallows it whole. Pretty sure Stella's barking up the wrong tree, Oscar. I don't think you have to worry about any horrible calamity befalling the town. But she's right about the weird stuff. There's definitely something unusual going on out in those woods. Whatever's out there in the woods has been brutalizing the local wildlife. I don't think it's safe. I'm going to try calling Rosalina again. I'm sure she's fine, really. Rosalina's a smart kid. She knows better than to go around getting into trouble, and we'll make sure to keep our eyes peeled. Well, if any of you run into her, would you let her know her dad is worried? Oscar anxiously wanders off, phone in hand. Got him. Just grabbed a whole mess of local history books. Stella sets a massive pile of books on the table and pulls up a chair. All right. This is going to be so much faster with the two of you here to help out. Got our snacks, got our books. Let's get this research party started. Reading awaits. Oh my god. Forced into retirement at age 50 due to a war injury from his time in the Indian Wars, exacerbated by his short stint serving as the captain of the Confederacy, Silas Scarlet also lost his eldest two sons to that bloodiest of wars, leaving his third eldest son, Andrew Jackson Scarlet, to take charge of the mine. Under his leadership, the mine prospered, undoubtedly in part due to the growth of the railroad industry. Managed to evade the coal union for decades, making them one of the most profitable mines in the country. Andrew Scarlet built the surrounding town into what it is today, with expensive stone buildings and bustling Main Street, and overseeing it all, the elegant Scarlet estate that was, until 1895, the largest and finest feat of architecture in the region. Culminating in the tragic collapse of 1918, it was found that Charles Shaw, the co-manager of the mine, had loosened security measures to increase production during World War I, resulting in a fatal collapse and the deaths of over 160 men and boys, some as young as 10. The casualties included Andrew Jackson Scarlet's son Theodore, his brother Enoch V. Scarlet, who had taken over for their aging father during the bustle of the war, managed to pull the mine from the brink of ruin, thereby saving the town. So this is how your family made its fortune. Silas Everett Scarlet was born to Colonel Everett J. Scarlet in 1818, one of 12 siblings. He grew up in the eastern North Carolina during a tumultuous time in the state's history. Not much is known about his life before he joined the Army in 1836. He quickly rose through the ranks, in part due to his father's connections, but also due to a particular ruthlessness for which he received the nickname Bloody Silas Scarlet. The federal government granted the now Captain Silas a tract of bounty land in exchange for his service in the Indian War, and he settled into the hills of North Carolina in 1841. That land would become Scarlet Hollow. But it started as a simple log cabin built by Silas's own two hands, occupied by his family of 10, Silas, his wife, Mary Joseph Scarlet, and their 8 children. Logging business brought many workers and fellow landowners to the hills, but it wasn't until Silas discovered rich seams of coal running underneath the entire region that Scarlet Hollow was really put on the map. He saved what he could and bought the surrounding hillside at a great discount, cleverly hiding what he knew about the land's true value. Thus, he had all the resources to found Scarlet Hollow's now famous coal mine. Folk monsters. Let's read about Tommyknockers. Tommyknockers originated in Cornish mythology, spread to the United States when Cornish immigrants began working in Appalachian mines. They're named for the knocking that can be heard from seemingly within the walls before a cave-in. According to some, the knocking serves as a benevolent warning. Others believe that the creatures take stolen hammers to the supports of mines and collapse them on whoever is unfortunate enough to still be inside. They're traditionally thought to be impish, leprechaun-like beings, but some claim they are the spirits of dead miners, forever cursed to haunt their final resting place. Okay, I'm done reading that. I think I'm all done. Let's check in. All right, if we're going with what Kanika's mom told us last night, I think we can rule out any natural disasters as what brought the ditchlings here. But not nuclear incidents. Looks like our state has a history with those. What about y'all? Find anything? Before you can respond, Pixel leaps onto the table, almost on instinct. Stella slams her book shut. Aw, hey Pixel. You might want to close your book. He loves to rip up any paper he can find. Don't worry, little guy. I didn't forget your treats. Pixel immediately goes to town on Stella's treats. Sorry if Pixel's bothering y'all. Hopefully he hasn't gobbled up any of your books. I can't stand the thought that people might pay attention to anything that isn't him. Why do you let a paper shredder freely wander a library? You seen this little guy's face? How could I say no to that? Sighed to let Pixel be. Cats. The cat curls up on the table, fast asleep. All right, I'd better get back to shelving. Let me know if y'all need anything. Stella, what was that you were saying about nuclear incidents? You were talking about the Goldsboro thing, right? Yeah, apparently in the 60s, a B-52 carrying a live warhead broke up midair and dropped a couple of bombs. Fascinating bit of history there. The first of the two bombs landed upright after its parachute got caught in a tree. Thankfully, it didn't go off. At the time, the government claimed that the bomb was unarmed, but it later came out that the only thing preventing a detonation was a single electrical switch which failed to trigger on the descent. And 60 years later, the second bomb still hasn't been recovered. Right. Its conventional explosive disintegrated in midair, but most of the nuclear material was made unrecoverable by flooding. If I remember correctly, they just buried it and sealed it up. I don't think disarming nuclear bombs is part of our skill set. Absolutely not. Also, Goldsboro is almost 400 miles from here. I think we're good. I'm just saying, you never know with radiation. We actually know quite a bit. It just melts you. It doesn't make monsters. And a 60-year-old bomb isn't going to explode on its own hundreds of miles away and kill us here. You never know. There could always be a whole underground society of bomb-worshipping mutants just waiting to blow it up. I've missed this. Do you think Wayne factors into any of this? I honestly wouldn't be shocked. There's something seriously wrong with him. Like I can viscerally feel it in my guts. Maybe he's sick. Maybe that has something to do with what you saw in the woods. I don't know. I'd buy it. I think we should head back to the woods. We know those creatures are there. Anything else right now is just speculation. Two of you merely made it out of the woods alive last night. I'd much rather we at least try to get more information on what's been dealing with before we blindly throw ourselves into danger. Ditchlings are either exactly what Kanika's mom told us they were, in which case they're not what we should be going after, or they're potentially dangerous cryptid we know next to nothing about. We might as well try and learn a bit more before we go back to the woods. Maybe we should go to the mines. There was that collapse a while back and a lot of people died. Maybe the ditchlings are here to warn us about something like that happening again. Okay, good, and hopefully we can find out what happened to Wayne while we're at it. Just makes the most sense to start there. We can make it quick, just question a few minors and be done with it. The fate of the town might rest on our shoulders after all. The only problem is Tabitha. She's not exactly going to be thrilled to see us snooping around the mines. Be sneaky, make sure to be a good lookout. She'll never even know we were there. Look at us going out on a caper together. I missed this. I missed it too, though there is something missing. I really miss that dude. I can't believe how long it's been. Have you seen him lately? Nope. I've tried to plan stuff, but he's been too sick. I didn't realize it was getting so bad. That poor guy. You know, we could just pop over and surprise him. Hell yeah, let's do it. See you, Oscar. We'll let you know if we run into Rosalina. Thanks, guys. I'll keep you posted. Reading adventures. Spend some time in the library on Tuesday. Didn't I already get that before? How am I? Like, did this reset all of... No, it did not reset all of my nonsense, but, like, I've clearly spent time reading in the library on Tuesday before. What am I missing for achievements? Let's see. There's a hidden achievement that I don't know anything about. Where's the list of things that I don't yet have? Finish episode 4 without finding Stella. I've not done that. Spent quality time with Avery. Have not done that. Friendship ended with Dresser Rat. Get stick bugged. Tight-knit social circle. Oh, go ghost hunting with a minimum number. Actions having consequences. Use your wiles or your abrasive personality to slip away from Duke and join Stella instead. Go on an adventure with your new friend, a path in the woods. Okay. Shadowing the boss. Bother your cousin at work on Tuesday without anyone taking you to her. And 8 hidden achievements. Okay. I'll have to figure out how to get those and, like, which ones are new. Okay. However, we've been going for 6 hours, and it's 1:40 a.m. So I think we're going to actually save. Save here. And pick this up next time, because, like, that's because it's 2 a.m. and I should take a break. And I can't keep reading. But we'll pick this up later. Is anybody else streaming? Anybody else streaming Scarlet Hollow, for that matter? What is anybody else streaming? I don't see anybody I know really streaming anything, which is sad face, but that's okay. We can always just end and go home, which I think is what we're gonna do. So thank you for hanging out with us, folks, for forever and ever, both earlier today and the past 6 hours of forever. But we'll be back. See folks later.